What's up, guys? Earl at Sumo Bully Kennels. Welcome back to the channel. If you have been with us on our journey, if you have not, have a seat, sit down, tap the button, like and subscribe. You're in for a good one today. I'm going to share with you my overall experience of how my delivery went for this very important breeding for myself. My girl Fortuna, who we took to the famous Mr. Klaus of Kennels. So without further ado, wanted to share this experience in our journey for you guys who have been breeding. You know, everything I'm about to share is very relatable for you guys who are aspiring to be breeders or have, never been through this part of things. I wanted you to share this with you because I feel like it'll really show the non-glamorous parts of breeding, just the reality of things and what to be prepared for. And for me, I always believe in that the more prepared we are, the smoother things go for as much as they can. And still understanding that life happens. And as I go through this episode, you'll see why. So these are our puppies that were born the 31st, right? We got 4 blacks and 2 lilac from Mr. Klaus and Fortuna, which is pretty cool because those black American bullies, XLs, or pit monsters from Brazil, it's a rare thing to have over here, especially over here in the U.S. And these are both import dogs from Brazil, pit monsters that were converted over registration to ABKC as XL bullies. And based on the phenotypes and genotypes and the research on the pedigree, I knew we were going to get some black dogs, which was I was really banking on that. So pretty cool stuff. Anyhow, that's not the episode today. Today I want to share with you my experience of my delivery, right? So to give some background story on it, really quick, not to bore you, stay with me. I got Fortuna. We got her in the U.S. last year. The time of the process to get her here took months. Finding the dog, agreeing, clearing the medical testings, the paperwork, all these things necessary to, one, have an agreement with somebody that you're buying a dog from another country that you don't know, let alone to bring the dog here. So Fortuna is a very, very special girl to me. I love her phenotype, her pedigree solid, genotype, everything. I knew getting her here was going to be a challenge. Fortunately for me, I had Araya in my side to help me out with that. In terms of finally getting her here, this is the breeding we just did. We already did this breeding. It just didn't take. And that's what I want to share with you guys. Like, sometimes you have plans to do a breeding and you have a vision of what you're trying to do and create, and it just doesn't go your way, right? Murphy's Law, life happens. However, fortunately for us, it's not the end of the world, right? We didn't lose the dog or anything like that, or, the male stud that we were trying to use wasn't all of a sudden no longer available, which can happen, right? People can close their studs and things like that. And so for me, it was important that I got the breeding that I wanted by acquiring the female to use to the male that I want. So with that backdrop, that setting, that was a really, really big letdown for us. Imagine, finding this dog, going through everything we had to go through to agree to bring the dog here, the investment of time and money, and then to align with people who can make it happen for me. To get the dog here, to finally get her here, and then to breed her, and then for her not to take, it was crushing. And then knowing that, we would have to wait another 6 months until we can repeat the breeding. That definitely hurt. However, the light at the end of that story is that I had time to really bring the girl to me, let her acclimate to my area, my facilities, my space, the way we do things here. And so with that said, she was more settled in by the time the second breeding came, and I understood her better. And so we did the breeding, and it took. And today's episode, I want to go over what happened. So let's start with how we do anything. I invested in a progesterone machine, the Wanfo, because the closest repro vet to me is about an hour away. And I wasn't just going to have a high-value female taken to a high-value male and basically count days and not do any kind of scientific progesterone testing to catch peak ovulation. I was not going to be okay with that, especially missing the first breeding. So yeah, the amount of money I invested in that progesterone machine was well worth it. I mean, like I was telling you guys in other episodes, just to drive to the repro vet and back, that's an hour each way. That's 2 hours. Plus the time you're going to sit there, at minimum of an hour. It burns half your day. So if you value your time and your money, you definitely want to get the right equipment. So you can do as much of the things that you can do from the convenience of your home and save money in the long run, right? Why do you invest money? You invest money to either make money or to save money, right? And that's why for us, getting a progesterone machine was a no-brainer. So anyhow, along comes the progesterone machine. We do our thing. We have the secret sauce shipped over to us. I'm no stranger to doing AIs. However, the only thing I changed up this time was that I went ahead and got me a TCI gun, which, I've never used that before. And so we got to use that, and it was, wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Initially, and I was like, gosh, I don't want to, kind of hurt her or whatever, or not do it correctly, right? But in my experience, it turns out it was simpler than I thought, and I thought it would be, and simpler than I had built it up to be, right? I was so paranoid and anxious about it that when I actually did it, I was like, that's it? Okay. That was easy. So I would encourage you to get one too, to be honest with you. TCI gun. The AI stuff you could buy just about anywhere, with the 3-way valves on Amazon or any kind of breeding website. But the TCI gun, yeah, I would recommend getting one for sure. It doesn't hurt to have it, right? So if you're testing your girl and all of a sudden she's spiced in a zone outside of an AI where the cervix closes, right? The only options you have there is a TCI or a surgical. And so as a last resort, you can TCI or pay the $1,500 or $1,000 for a surgical, depending on where you go to and who's doing it for you. For me, I'd rather have more tools than I need to do the job than to not have the tools necessary if I'm put in a tight space. I'm that guy. So, if it's within reason, if it's a good investment, if it makes financial sense, I'm going to buy tools that I need, and I'm going to buy tools I probably don't even need. Just because I want to be prepared for any kind of situation that can happen for me. So moving right along, we do that. Last time we went to confirm and get an ultrasound, and it was just like wonk, 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 wonk. And a lot of you guys were messaging me. I was talking to a lot of you guys about that. And it didn't take. And it was a heartbreaker, So this time around, I was touching on it, but I wasn't really putting it out there as much as I normally do, just because of that last time. I was maybe kind of just disheartened by the whole situation, and I didn't want to jinx myself ultimately, So this time we went to confirm, and I waited a little bit longer so I could just skip the ultrasound and go straight to x-ray. And the doctor saw 7. I was like, cool, 7, 100% confirmed. That was awesome. That was a great feeling, a good relief, because I did all my AIs. And Fortuna's heat kept going up and down. She wouldn't fully spike. So I kept asking for more juice, right? And thankfully, Aurea was cool in terms of sending me, my request in a timely manner. So I ended up doing like 4 AIs and a TCI just because I was waiting for her. Once she spiked, her numbers doubled or tripled. That's really what I was looking for. And so when that happened, that's when I did my TCI. And the draw was 2 anyway, so I did an AI and a TCI for good measure. And I got what I wanted. So quite honestly, her having 7 puppies, it's the amount of eggs that she ovulated, right? The amount of puppies that a female can have is not determined by the quality of semen or sauce that the male has. It's determined by the number of eggs that a female releases. Because when you shoot the sauce in there, you're millions, literally millions, right? And if you look at it under a microscope, you see all these little swimmers. And so you cannot exceed the amount of eggs that are ovulated. So if she drops 6 or 7, that's all you can get. I don't care how many gabillion, swimmers you have in there. That's all you're going to get. Otherwise, we would have litters of a billion, right? So anyhow, back to my story. All is well. Got her done. Talked to the doctor. We counted from days of ovulation. And he had scheduled me for 3 dates on a C-section. Because I was not good with just one date. I said, listen. He scheduled me for August 1st, which is today, August 2nd, and August 3rd. And we counted from day 63 days from ovulation, plus or minus, right? And the reason why I had 3 days is because on a bigger litter, females tend to go a little bit earlier, right? And so what I was doing is I was doing reverse progesterone testing. And I'll do a whole nother episode on that. That's a whole nother topic to go over. And also I was doing just the cues of a girl, like nesting, digging the yard up, panting, that restlessness, temperature drop from a rectal, measuring her internal temperature rectally. And so it gets me to the point of my story where, and this is why I want to share this stuff with you guys, is that I did my homework. I calculated my days, right? I counted my days. That's one way. I started seeing signs. And what is it? The 30th, Tuesday the 30th, I took her rectal temp was 100, right? Normally when you get a girl that drops down to 98 or low 99, 98 point something or 99, whatever, you're about a day and a half out from having puppies. But she was still at 100, so I felt like I was safe. And I took her PG test, and she was a 3.29, right? And why that number is relevant is that when they say 3 and below on my machine, on Wanfo, you're safe to cut, right? And the topic really is the correct timing for a C-section, because I had a C-section scheduled. Here's the problem, guys, that honestly, we're in XL lane, and can our dogs deliver natural birth? Yes. However, if you have investment quality dogs, show quality dogs, high value dogs, anything can happen while a girl is delivering. For example, a puppy gets stuck, or a puppy is backwards, right? So let's say 1 or 2 come out, and then 1 gets stuck, and there's 5 more behind it. Well, you can lose those 5 behind it, and let's say this is happening at 2 a.m. while you're sleeping. And you can also lose the mom. That's the scariest part, is like, for me, I would prefer to do a C-section. That's why I scheduled it. And so that happened. I tested Tuesday. Well, here's the kicker. I get home from work at Wednesday. I was like, cool, I'm going to test her on Wednesday. You know, I took a half day so I could get back earlier. And, you know, I got home about 2:30. And there was 3 puppies on the ground. Mind you, I just tested her the day before. Right? And I took her temp in the morning too. I'm sorry. Took her temp in the morning too. You know, typically they say she hits a 98. You're 24 hours out from having puppies. Never hit the 98. Never even saw 99. All I saw was 100. And she was still above a 3 on my PG machine. But something, she just it induced her labor. She had 3. Literally, as I walked in, she was dropping the 3rd pup. The head peaked, pushed out, started licking it up, eating, you know, the jelly, the wrapper around the face, and the embryonic sac. And a good mom, right away, you'll see her start chewing the umbilical cord. She's gonna pick up the dog, put it here, nuzzle it over, and start chewing the umbilical cord. Crazy. Now, here is where I made my big mistake. I got the x-ray. I'm like, cool. 2:30, we're at 3. I don't know when she started, right? But I know there's at least, you know, 3 more, right? If not 4 more, that you could visually see in the x-ray. And this is, you know, I kick myself in the butt for it, but the reality is that Fortuna has given a litter before and given natural birth with no complications, right? And that's why I say I like a functional dog. I like a dog that if you put him on the wall, this dog is going to survive, right? It's got the look we like the phenotype, but also the functionality, right? She's a Brazilian dog. It's hot down there. It's humid, right? This dog can acclimate to that. Typically, unless you're 100% negligent, you don't lose a dog here in the wintertime because it's cold. The dog will go somewhere where it's warm, right? And unless you're just not an ethical person, you're not going to leave your dog out in the cold where it'll freeze to death. Typically, what you hear stories of people losing their dogs here is in the summertime. Dog gets too hot, no access to water. You know, in an uninsulated place where it gets hotter inside of that covered area than it does outside with no air, no wind. And dogs just die. And so, you know, that's kind of the allure of her and like a dog like Mr. Klaus is these are seasoned dogs. They're in Brazil. They're used to that heat, the humidity, everything. You know, they're probably not used to our winters, but at the same time, you're not going to leave your dog out there in the winter anyway. So the infusion of the Brazilian pit monsters, or their version of our American bully, is that back in Brazil, these are seasoned dogs, right? And so, with that said, knowing that in hindsight, okay, I'll kick myself in the face right now. I should have packed her up right then and there, wiped off the puppies, put them in the tub. I should have took her right then and there and just finished it off at the doctor's. It's 2:30. The place that it normally goes to probably closes at 5 or 6. And 2:30 is the beginning of traffic here. The problem is I would have just made it to that door at that time, and would they have taken me in? That's what's going on through my mind, right? There are emergency vets near me, but they don't do emergency C-sections. It's a different kind of emergency. They have what they call urgent care, which doesn't do emergency C-sections, and emergency vet clinics, who also don't do emergency C-sections. Where I'm at, there's only 2 places that does it, and they're both an hour from me. So that's my choice. Here I am now. Next puppy comes. I told you 2:30, right? 3 puppies. Next puppy comes 4:30. 2-hour gap. Well, what's crazy is after that 2-hour gap, she pops one at 4:30, pops another one at 5:30, an hour apart. Pops another one an hour, a little over an hour, just before 7 o'clock. So now I'm 6 puppies in. I'm like, cool. Based on my x-ray, we're looking at 7, right? But when you're looking at an x-ray, it's not like you can definitively say 100% there's 7 in there. What you're looking at, it's like, looks like 7. And I had asked other people to look at it, and they're like, looks like 6. I had one person say it looks like 8. I had another person say it looks like 9. So I'm sitting here now, it's 7 o'clock. Mind you, the last gap she had was 2 hours, so by 9:30, I'm like, nothing's happening. Maybe there's only 6. I'm looking at my girl. She's not distressed. She is cleaning up her pups like a champ, feeding them, chewing the umbilical cord, everything that the mother's supposed to do. Turning them over, everything. They're starting to suckle. Right now, she's not producing milk yet. She's it's that like yellowish colostrum, that initial fluid that comes out. And I'm just like, you know what? If she doesn't drop another puppy, I'm just gonna take her to the vet in the morning, right? Because dogs can go for 24 hours in labor. Typically, a dog goes from 6 to 12 hours. The most common dogs are normally 6 to 8 hours. But a dog can be in labor for 24 hours. So my thought process, like, I'll get up early. In which case, I didn't sleep much anyway. I had a baby monitor by my whelping station, so I could take a nap. Me and my son were switching out. I got up in the morning. 8 o'clock comes. I call the place. They're like, "Yeah, we'll take you in." Cool. Now here's my problem. I can't leave these puppies, and I'm not going to stress these puppies out to go take her. So, I make a call to a friend who will take her for me. I said, look, get her over there and just drive her for me. Get her inside and they'll take care of the rest. Long story short, she gets in, calls me up. Guess what? There's a puppy in there. Is it alive? Don't know. Now, regardless of if this puppy is alive or not, the puppy has to come out. If the puppy didn't pop out on its own, or she didn't push it out and it's no longer alive, well, she either has to excrete that puppy out naturally or take the risk of her going septic, in which case you run a high risk of losing the mother. And if you don't know she's septic and you're not paying attention, and the puppies are feeding off of her, you run a risk of losing the puppies as well, the healthy puppies. So I was in a no-win situation. I mean, obviously, when I called them at 8 in the morning, I was like, listen, whatever's in there, it's got to come out, if there's something in there. And I was like, please, let there be nothing in there. But there was something in there. Now, if you connect the dots here, I was scheduled to have the C-section today, tomorrow, or Saturday, based on the days, right? Counting days up from ovulation. Based on temperature, she wasn't due yet, right? A 98, or when she drops down to 98. And based on her progesterone test, I was still good. Because if you cut above a 3, you run the risk of pulling puppies out prematurely, in which their lungs aren't developed and they're going to fade and die within the first week, if not the first 3-4 days, right? The best chance a puppy has for survival is for the puppy to come out naturally when it's supposed to. So in essence, like, if she would give birth today regardless, natural birth today, then you want to get as close to that as possible to for you to bet a higher average of having every puppy survive in birth, because that's your first challenge, is the puppies to come out alive. Your second challenge now is to keep them alive, and that's going to be how well does your mom whelp her puppies, How much assistance are you giving her if she's not whelping correctly? Do you have the proper temperature? You know, and especially in the first week, puppies are high risk, and you have to be on it. You have to pay attention. You really have to watch each puppy and not, you know. It's an experience thing. It's a pay attention thing. It's a research thing, and you know, we clear the first part, which is they're here. Mom is whelping like a champ. We're on it. We're assisting her. We're relieving her. You know, yeah. So I lost one, and that's not to say that the puppy, you know, after that sixth one came out, the sack could have broke already, and that puppy could have drowned in there. Is the reality. I don't know, and we'll never know. Is the truth. But in hindsight, I would have just been on the phone calling like crazy, even if there was a place that was 2 or 3 hours away from me that would do an emergency C-section. I would have done it yesterday. And that, I'm not saying it would have, but I'm saying it could have been the difference of saving one puppy. And, you know, for those who guys who want to get into breeding, these are the things, Murphy's Law, right? That's not even the end of my story. So now I got the puppies here. Mom is going there to get cut open if there's something there, right? I'm hoping they drive there for an hour. They don't see anything. She comes right back. 2.5 hours, she's back with the puppies. Well, guess what? There's something in there. Now mom is away from the puppies for 5-6 hours, you know, and they're not even a day old yet. And so now I got to be on it and not sleep and take care of these puppies until I got mom back to help me. Again, Murphy's Law, right? If it can't happen, it probably will happen. And then it's like that life will humble you. So we lose the puppy. I paid for a C-section for a dead puppy, right? Roughly $1,900 for a C-section for a puppy that was already dead. It's never fun to spend that kind of money. However, if I don't spend that money, I risk losing mom. And if I'm not paying attention, I could lose the puppies too because they're feeding off mom. You see what I'm saying? So it's all interconnected. And this is why I'm sharing the story. I'm hoping that you guys can pick up some gems from the story if you're a new breeder, or if you've been an experienced breeder and this happens to you. Man, it's a lot. And then it's like, to add insult to injury, now I've been, you know, my son and I have been whopping all night, all day. We don't have mom with us. We got whining puppies that aren't a day old. To top it off, the vehicle that transported my dog to the vet breaks down. Now the car won't start. It's 95 degrees outside. So the person I have there taking my dog for me, now I'm calling a tow truck, trying to find a mechanic to tow the car to a mechanic shop. Luckily, the repro vet took my dog back in so she could be in air conditioning and drink water and whatnot. And I had to find somebody else to go pick up my friend to drive him and my dog back. Dude, it's crazy. I'm telling you. And I'm like operating on 2 hours of sleep here, 1 hour of sleep there. And my wife's not here. She's in Thailand right now. She's you know, she got deployed for 3 weeks to Thailand, and so it's just me and my son right now, and my son's 13. So, moral of the story: you can never be too prepared, and you know, you just have to accept it as it comes and make the best decisions you can at the moment. Now, because I'm a crazy person, I am stocked up with, you know, the puppy milk, the powder puppy milk, the all-in-one that's already, you know, all you gotta do is mix it with warm water. I got I got those anti-colicky bottles. I got the puppy bottles. I got every kind of bottle imaginable. I got a small one. I got a bigger one. I got the one with the 4 teats, like the jar with 4 teats. I got all kind of stuff, right? Because again, I'm the kind of person that, whatever I'm doing, I got to have more tools than I need, just in case, right? And here, I'll leave you guys with a tip for puppies that are not even a day old. Because the first thing you do with a puppy when they're born, after the mom cleans them up and they get cleaned up, is you try to get them to latch onto mom. That's very, very important, guys. If you guys have never bred or never whatever, the first thing you want to do is the puppy's got to latch on to mom, and it'll be the first time them doing it. They're coming out of the mom. They've never latched to anything before. Instinctively they'll figure it out because they'll get hungry, right? But what happens when you don't have mom? Now you're trying to get this puppy to latch onto something artificial that it number one, cannot see. The dog is blind. Dogs are born blind. I don't know if you know that, but their eyes are still closed. The dog can't see. The dog's barely learning how to latch to its own mother, let alone, latch on a foreign object that feels weird and doesn't smell like mom. That was a challenge, right? And so even though I had all these different kind of nipples, different sizes, these guys are, number one, they were warm, so they weren't going to cry because they were cold. And typically puppies will cry for 2 reasons. They're either cold or they're hungry. And that's definitely 2 ways you can lose a pup. So they were dry, they were warm, they were hungry. And the way you can get a puppy to eat is basically you got to open that mouth up and put your finger in there like it's the nipple with some milk on it. A syringe, and drip some milk on it. And once they taste that in their tongue, all of a sudden they're grabbing and latching, and they suck hard, even for 1-day-olds. And then from there, you could transfer a nipple, like an anti-colicky nipple, onto there, which is roughly about the size of your thumb, the head of it. And then they learn, and you do that a few times, and all of a sudden, when you put it by their mouth, they'll grab on and start drinking by themselves. So hopefully that tip can help you guys. Gosh, today is just full of challenges, and my eyes are swollen and burning from a long night of worrying, and then life happening today. We made it through the day. Fortunately, these are some strong puppies, like strong, high vigor, high vitality, active. What scares me most about a puppy this age is when I don't hear anything. People are like, oh my God, they won't shut up. They keep crying. Be worried when you don't hear crying. I'd rather hear them crying and cry for, mom or milk or whatever. But when they go quiet, you got a problem. So keep that one in mind, guys. Today I wanted to go over the whole experience from, when she should have been cut, all the signs I was looking for, the temp drop, under a 3 on the PG test. None of that happened. And on top of that, I already scheduled 3 days, right? I said, block me out for 3 days. One of those days is going to hit because, number one, I counted from the day of ovulation. So what did I miss? I counted the day of ovulation. I was taking a rectal temp, and I was taking a progesterone test, and she still dropped a day early. That's the reality of things, guys. And then the last one, for whatever reason, doesn't come out. And I was so worried. I'm like, man, if there's something in there that didn't make it out, it can cause problems for me. And sure enough, I was like, I hope I'm wrong, but for the sake of being sure, and now I'm torn between, I can't leave these puppies, but I got to make sure mom's okay, right? Luckily, I had a friend that took care of it for me. And even his day didn't go well, because I had to have another friend go pick him up, and had a tow truck take my truck to a mechanic that I don't even know. Murphy's Law. Life happens. And so, without further ado, it's a blessing, guys. I worked hard to make this happen, and I'm very happy for this work. Oh man, these pups, they're looking very promising, I'll tell you that. For the amount of puppies I looked at, typically I like to see pups at 4 weeks, because I like to then see them at 8 and 10 weeks before, whenever people start picking. Depending on the breeder, it's just I like to get an early jump and see where the pups are at, because the pups' growth is tremendous between week 1, week 4, week 8. I mean, they're just exploding in size. And so even a pup that comes out small initially, that doesn't mean anything. It could just be that pup is younger, right? So here you go. Let's go over a few pictures so you can see. There's Tuna. That's my baby girl right there. I got 3 black males. Amazing. And I got 1 black female. And I got 2 lilac females. The same color as for Tuna. And so here we're going to get US born pit monsters, right? American Bullies, XLs, in a black coat. So Klaus and Fortuna in the black coat, wickedness. Absolutely amazing. Here they are. This big old one right here, you see? This big fat one right here, that's a girl. And this is a girl, the one right next to her sister. But here you can start seeing like how the size of these dogs. I think as for their age, and I'm seeing it, I'm looking at it. I like the stoop, the back of the necks. I like the thighs. And again, they're young. They got 2.5 years of growing. So this is what I'm talking about. The little turkey legs right here. You see that angulation right there? Love seeing that on a puppy that's not even a day old, maybe hours old. It's pretty cool, guys. It really is, because when you're pairing and you're doing your research on pedigrees, genotypes, phenotypes, and stuff like that, this is one of the things that I wanted was a black pit monster. Klaus is a fawn black, right? Fortuna is a lilac, which means she's a dilute carrier. In an ideal world, I'd get a monster black pit monster that's a dilute carrier that you can use in your program to take to a tri dog, right? Or a merle, for example. And then you could really have fun with different markings and stuff like that. But look at the size of this one right here. This is a female, right? Look at that neck on her. It's crazy. Look at the muscle on this guy over here. Look at this. You see that back right there? Look at the back muscles on these dogs. These dogs, in this picture, these dogs are hours old. Okay, they just came out. Right here. I think this is the black female. I'm not sure. But either way, just thought I'd share this with you guys. And this one back here is big. It's just that this one's in the front. But this is a big puppy, though. Big old puppy right there. Right there, yep. See if I can spin this around, maybe. There you go. Now you can kind of see what I'm talking about, the angulation of the rear, the muscle on the back. And again, these are puppies, guys, right? Not even a day old. And part of breeding Fortuna to Klaus is that if you look at Klaus, has a heavier terrier influence, and Fortuna is 34% bulldog on her embark, and that's why she's got that crease on her forehead, that thick spread up front, and I love that. But I didn't want to double down on those traits, because with the good can bring the bad, guys. So when you double down on something good on the dog, you can also double down. And with bulldogs, one of the traits of the bulldogs that can affect us in our breeding is the bites, right? Bulldog will bring massive heads, wide chest, heavy bone, and if incorrectly bred, you can double down and have bite problems. So that's something, here's a picture I like. Look at the muscle on this one. My son calls this one muscles right here. Look at the neck. Look at the neck. Look at the body. Look at the muscles on this body. Again, not even a day old, man. But it's this pairing is looking very promising. You know, this is exactly what I had in mind, and I've been working on this since last summer. What am I gonna? I like Klaus, but question is, what's gonna give me the best version of a Klaus that I'm looking for, and it is her. Look at the muscle on that head right here. Look at these babies. Short muzzles, big old domes on them, right? That's not even a day old, hours old. There they are. Look, they still got that juice on them. Licking them up. Super cute, though. Who doesn't love puppies, man? If you don't like puppies, something's wrong with you. Puppies are the best. I love puppies. There it is. Let me see. Maybe I got a video of them feeding. That's my Insta. Okay, no, we don't want to do that. Yeah, just wanted to share some photos with you. Very happy. 6 is a good number. That's not a complicated whelp. If you got 10s, 12, 14, man, you're working. You are working, my friend. 6-piece like this with a good mom should be good. Shouldn't have to work that hard. Look at that crease on her forehead. Look at the muscle expression on that forehead and the jaws right here. I love that. That's the one thing, one of the characteristics of the pit monster that I love is that muscle expression on the forehead and on the masseters. It's something different, and I think incorporating that to some of the blood we have here is going to produce some truly, truly amazing dogs. The next level, the next generation wave of really cool looking dogs to come. So here it is. So today wanted to share my birthing experience. I'll talk more about whelping and whelping supplies in another episode. I just kind of wanted to tell you guys how tired I am, what I've been through in the last almost 48 hours now, or maybe even a little more than 48 hours. So anyone who's ever delivered and whelped, you know what it is. It's grind time now. We're a team, no sleep. Got to take care of our dogs, and whelping is a big thing. It's you have to just be on it, right? And it's good if you have a team. You, your wife, your child, whoever in your family or friends that, loves your vision and is part of your team. This is a team effort, guys. Can you do it by yourself? Absolutely. But it's nicer when you have a team. So with that said, guys, I hope this episode brought value to you. In terms of this litter, if you have any questions, you can just DM me on Insta. My number's on the website, so you can just text me directly. And also, we're not doing nothing until about 4 weeks. I'm gonna let these. I want to get past the weaning process. I'm gonna whelp, make sure these dogs are healthy, wean them properly, and then we can start talking. Once these dogs wean and they get on hard foods, Papa's gonna be able to rest a little bit and have more of myself to respond to you guys, right? So if I don't get to you right away, apologies, I'm just tired, okay? I'm just trying to catch up with sleep. If you ever whelped, you know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't and you plan on one day, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So thanks, guys, for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, share this with somebody. Earl S. Bully Kennels, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.